Hi, it's Brianna from Urban Family Grind, and today we are back with our June 2021 garden tour. So let's get started. So over here in our side, beside our patio, we have our cherry tomatoes, which as you see are starting to blossom, which is a good sign. Then over here we have our patty pan squash, which is doing pretty good. Then as we come to our pots over here on the side, we have our silver queen corn, which up here is starting to pollinate, so which is also a good sign that we're going to get some corn. And that's another silver queen corn. So as we come over here to our main garden, which is our favorite part of the garden, we have our cucumbers, which we just planted 3 days ago. Then as we come over here, we have our calendula, which is doing amazing. And I love how it has orange and yellow colors. So it's doing pretty good. So over here we have our jalapeno pepper. And as you see, it has a flower pod on it. So we're going to get some jalapenos very soon. So as we come over here, we also have our big bell pepper, which is also doing good. Next to the big bell pepper and the jalapeno pepper, we have our kale. So over here by the fence line, we have our kidney beans, which are already starting to flower as well. And it's starting to have beans on it. Over here we have our nasturtiums, which are particularly my favorite. Over here we have our dark green zucchini, which is doing awesome. It's flowering already. Hasn't bloomed yet, but that's pretty good. So over here we have our cabbages. Nice, you see they're doing pretty good. On the side over here we have our cauliflowers. Over here we have our broccoli. And the good thing is we're already starting to get a broccoli floret. So that's pretty good. So over here in the back of the broccoli and the cauliflower and the kale, we have our basil. And we have our butternut squash. And our dill. And what we're going to do with that is we're just going to take the dill weed off and use that for something and the flowers as well. So we get double the train. So over here we have our San Marzano tomato. And this is my mom's favorite part, which is the sunflowers. And honestly, we didn't think they were going to grow in this climate, but it seems like the winter storm really helped. So over here we have our carrots, which are doing amazing. We're going to leave them in just a little bit longer, see if they can get any more bigger. Then over here we have our Georgia collards, which are pretty big. It took up a lot of space. In the back of the Georgia collards we have our spaghetti squash, which is also one of my mom's favorite. Then over here we have our colorful carrots. And then over here we just planted, which is our tomato delicious. And then over here we have our buttercup squash, which is by the trellis. Then in our raised bed we have our sweet potatoes. Then as we come over here, we have our lemon cucumbers. Then as we come over by the fence line, the other fence, we have our golden zucchini, which are doing pretty good after we add some stuff to it. And this stuff is normal. It happens right after you use neem oil, but the plant is perfectly fine itself. Then as we come over here, we have our cucumber bush. Then we have our baby squash, which is also starting to get some flower pods. Then over here, by our patio, we have our blueberry bush, which is getting plenty of blueberries. Then on our patio, we have our leek. We have our pumpkin mini harvest. We have our okra. And we're kind of nursing this plant. It looks like it's getting better. So we're kind of hanging in there. So as we come over here, we have our black cherry tomatoes, which we just started, which are popping up. That's a good thing. We have our radish. And we did another set of turnips because the turnip that we did was kind of pretty amazing how it turned out. So we're trying it again. We have our green onions, which hasn't came up yet. Neither has our carrots, but they do take a long time to pop up. We have our garlic and our little tubs over here, which are doing pretty okay for first time growing. We have our big beef tomatoes. And then over here we have our citronella, which is pretty good for warding off mosquitoes and other insects. So as we come over here on our side of the house, we have some other plants that actually did pretty good. So we have our butter sugar corn, which is doing pretty good as well, because you see the other corn. Then over here we have our Cocozelle squash. And then we also decided to take one of the baby Cocozelle squash and put it in another pot, since the other one was so aggressive. Then as we come near the front of the house, we are doing pretty good with our cucumbers up here. We have our cucumber white spine, which as you see is doing pretty okay because it's actually starting to get vines on it. So that means that's pretty good. That means we're getting some cucumbers very soon. So as we come near the side of the house, which is on the side, we have our beautiful, beautiful rose sticker bush, which is growing back. Then right here we have our turnip greens. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the main garden and show you what everything looks like. So here we go.